This is Ayanni.
And this is Corinne.
And you're listening to Sex, Love, Literature, a pop culture podcast where we take a semi-scholarly look at why
and how
the sex stuff in media matters.
This episode, we're doing something a little bit different. Mm-hmm. We just attended the BLACKPINK concert in New York City. So we are actually in the same room together for the first time and thought we would bring you a special episode to talk about our experience, what we thought, how much fun we had, and how great BLACKPINK is.
So I'm laughing because you're like in the same room for the first time. We've been in the same room before.
Okay, we've never recorded in the same room before.
That's fair. But we have absolutely been in the same room in the past. But yeah, no, BLACKPINK was an experience. And this was my first K-pop concert ever. I have, of course, been to other concerts in my life, but if you listen to our K-pop Demon Hunters episode, you'll know that Corinne and Audrey, our friend of the show now officially too, have been on like a run this year of going to K-pop concerts.
Mm-hmm.
So we were planning to go to When did we get these tickets?
So we got these tickets when they went on sale. I'm remembering sitting in my office trying to get them from Ticketmaster, which is a nightmare. So I was I was trying to get them. Ayanni was trying to get them. Andrew, Ayanni's spouse, was trying to get them. I was like 60,000 in line or something, so I wasn't going to be able to get tickets. Ayanni was like 40-something thousand,
yeah,
and then Andrew was like 8,000 in line, so he actually got our ticket.
Yeah, that was actually a crazy moment because I was on a meeting at work when we were getting the tickets. And it was like, there was a little bit of a delay at the beginning of the meeting, so it was okay. But when the meeting started, I was like, hey, so I'm going to be paying attention, but I want you to know that the rest of my screen kind of looks like a crazy command center right now because I had like my iPad, my phone to text you guys, and then like my work up on my computer. And when Andrew secured the tickets, like I threw my hands up in the meeting. And they were like, oh, I guess you got your tickets. And I was like, yes, Andrew did. He's the best.
So for some context for people who are not perhaps super plugged into the K-pop world, BLACKPINK is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, girl group active right now. And tickets for this concert were also super competitive to get because they only had a few stops in North America. And it also, this is just me being suspicious, but I am suspicious that they may break up or at least go on hiatus to focus on their solo careers for a while. So this may have been the last chance for like a good long while to see them as a group in concert.
I cannot confirm nor deny those suspicions. I don't know if they're true, but I do know that people were clamoring to get these tickets. So much so that they added a second New York show. Like originally it was just going to be Saturday, and I think tickets sold out so fast that they added a show for that following Sunday. So we went to the Saturday show, and I mean, all in all, I think it was a pretty great experience, right? There was some troubles leading up to our arrival to getting to Citi Field, which is in Queens, New York, and it's where the concert was held. There was a lot of traffic on the way.
Yeah.
Which is never fun. We also were like really hungry in the car. But when we arrived at the venue, even though the lines were long to get in, I think they were really efficient to get into the venue. Except for my ticket didn't work at the door, and that freaked me out for a little bit.
Yeah, so pro tip, add your ticket to your Apple Wallet ahead of time if you can.
Yep, because I was like, yeah, low ticket, and my phone was like, aha, you thought. But yeah, once we got in, I mean, okay, so one of the things, I might be skipping ahead here a little bit.
We don't have to go chronologically.
But one of the things that's really fun about K-pop concerts that Corinne and Audrey both kind of talked up to me was the fact that people give you presents at the show.
Yeah, they call them freebies, I think.
And, okay, well, I'll use the correct terminology. And I'd only ever heard about that like at Taylor Swift shows, how they like exchange
the friendship bracelet thing.
Right. And so I was very excited about getting presents, but then like the week before the show was like, wait, Corinne, we can't go empty-handed. We have to have a return gift. So we bought a whole bunch of BLACKPINK stickers. So we were like armed and ready to give people presents, freebies at the show. And we got some fun little freebies. We got bracelets. I think I got a Lisa photo card. I haven't opened that yet. And some stickers. There was something else we got. Oh, the keychainy kind of thingies.
Yeah, like a charm.
Yeah,
but a homemade charm that someone had like threaded themselves.
Yeah, a lot of these gifts are like homemade things that people put together.
Yeah,
which
they're
is really
very
sweet.
much like handmade, crafty, cute little things. Sometimes you do get really nice ones. Like I think the bracelets we got were actually like pretty nice. Mine said Rosé. It was very nice.
And it came with a whole little like pouch, and it was like, enjoy the concert, Blink. But yeah, so we gave out stickers like a whole bunch before the show. There were a lot of kids there with like their parents, a lot of couples, I think, and a lot of gay men. Yeah. But like a lot of the kids, especially like there was a lot of little girls.
There were a lot of little girls, and especially a lot of, I think, Asian American little girls. I would say, so this was, I think, either my 4th or 5th Korean musical act concert this year. There are a couple I went to that were more like Korean band than K-pop, but the proportion of like Korean audience members was higher at this than some of the other concerts I've been to.
Which is interesting. There's a study to be done on the demographics of K-pop concert attendance in the US.
Well, and there are definitely, so something that I've talked to Audrey about in the past is that there are some groups, she mentioned Stray Kids as one, that are more popular in the United States than they are in South Korea.
Yeah, I think I read an article once about like which groups were more popular in the US versus in South Korea and in other places. Do you know where BLACKPINK falls on that spectrum?
I am fairly sure that BLACKPINK is pretty globally popular.
Okay. Which is why the tickets sold so fast. And why I think some fans were also a little upset that the tour was short, that there were fewer locations, which, you know, I can understand. But, so, the lead up to the show was fun. We got freebies. We gave out stickers. People were really excited about it. I love how excited people were about stickers, by the way, because I also am very excited about stickers. So we'd be like, do you want some? They're like, oh, yeah! And some people were like, could I have 2? And we're like, yes, we have so many. Please take them. Let's talk a little bit about the show itself. So...
Okay, so first of all, since this was your first K-pop concert, Ayanni,
I have to answer first.
You do. What was one thing you expected that was about what you expected it to be, and then what was something that was surprising to you?
Well, I talked about the freebies. I was going to be disappointed if I didn't get any. So I was excited about that. But about the show itself, something that I was expecting and something that was surprising. So I was expecting them to put on a consummate show, like dancing, singing, etc., right? Because from my interpretation of K-pop, right, a lot of it is centered on a certain kind of performance. And I'm thinking K-pop very specifically, not indie, not more bands, like the kind of branded K-pop, right? So I was expecting dance numbers. I was expecting, you know, a lot of intermingling of the group, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like a very highly choreographed show.
Yeah. And I think we got that. Of course, it's not going to be choreographed like a music video, right? Because they're also singing. So, yeah. The one thing I do wish is that we got to see more of the backup dancers. So, for a little bit of context, this was a stadium. It was an outdoor stadium. And the way that they did kind of like the Jumbotron screen, right, for people who weren't right up on the stage, is that there were 4 vertical tall screens that were set up to the back of the stage that they would move around either to bring them apart or bring them together. And a lot of the times they were showing close-ups of the girls singing, right? But not full shots of the stage. So I think I did miss out on some of the intricate dance numbering of things because we couldn't see all of the stuff that was happening with the dancers. And we weren't like super far away. We were not in the pit, right? We were not on the floor, but we were like in the 100 section. So
yeah, we were like in the first bowl. We were like kind of in the middle-ish. Like we were, for a baseball stadium, we didn't have like amazing seats, but we had like good seats.
Oh yeah, we could have seen the players, right?
Yeah.
Like we could have caught a home run.
No, we were by home plate.
We were in the wrong spot. We could have caught a bad foul.
Yeah.
But so in that sense, like we could see the stage and we could see the movements, but like that level of detail was lost a little bit. So that was something that I was a little sad about. But I guess something that surprised me that I wasn't expecting was how much I enjoyed Lisa, but we'll come back to that. But also how much I enjoyed their individual performances. So it really made me want to, and this is what a good concert is supposed to do, right? It really made me want to go back and listen to all of their individual albums.
Yeah. So for context, within the last
year
maybe a little less than a year even. Well, within the last 2 years, they've started releasing maybe slightly longer, like individual singles, which isn't too unusual for a K-pop group. But within the last year, they've each released individual solo albums or EPs.
Right.
I think Jisoo is the one who has an EP, and the rest of them have albums.
Okay.
That have an individual style, that are doing something different, that in particularly in Jennie's case are doing something very different from what they were doing as like Blackpink as a unit. So each of them had an individual set as part of the concert. Right. That to me felt kind of like a test run for each of them to then have maybe their own solo tour later on.
Yeah, which makes sense. And so I think the concert did a good job of making me want to go and listen to their solo music. So at the point of going to the concert, I listened to Jennie's album all the way through. A couple songs of Lisa's had been given to me by the algorithm. I listened to Rosé's album once, but I think I was in the wrong headspace for what she was looking to do, which is appropriate and fair, right? Some albums you have to come to with an appropriate mindset. And I hadn't listened to Jisoo's EP yet. So I was surprised by how the live performance made me really be like, oh, I need to give these albums another listen. Except for Jennie. We could come back to Jennie. but I was already on board with that one. But I'm going to turn the question back around to you, since now you are more K-pop concert experienced. What was something that like you expected that they delivered and something that was surprising to you?
Yeah, so I think the general vibe was kind of what I expected for a K-pop concert. Like
lots of screaming.
lots of screaming. Like there were light sticks, which we sadly were not able to acquire.
Yes.
Like, folks, my advice is to get your light stick before the concert if you possibly can.
Like a week in advance.
More if you can, because trying to get it at the concert, especially since we like ran into traffic and were delayed, we just had to call it. But anyway, there were light sticks, there was merch, there were people wearing like plenty of like Blackpink inspired outfits and all that kind of thing. It also followed the kind of like format of what I expect of a K-pop concert. Like it was very similar to the Stray Kids concert that I went to earlier this year, which was also in a baseball stadium. I went to the one in Atlanta, except thankfully better run, because that was a disaster getting into the stadium. Anyway, but they did a little bit less talking, but they did have the group numbers, and then they followed basically the set list that had been released. There was a small amount of deviation from it, but not much. And they also did like a little bit of talking to the audience, maybe less than some other groups that I've seen, which is totally fine. They don't have an obligation to be entertainers in that way. But yeah, and there were fireworks. It was a big show.
Right.
In a way that I expected it to be, with an audience that clearly adored them, knew all their music, knew the words, knew the members.
Were singing and dancing along.
Were obsessed with Jisoo. I think Jisoo was probably a crowd favorite.
I think that was our section.
Okay. I felt like the stadium was loud whenever Jisoo
did
spoke
anything
or popped up. And Jisoo, I think, speaks the least English, so she spoke the least. But when she did, it felt like there was a huge crowd reaction.
I think there were definitely some heavy Jisoo supporters in our section too, for sure. Okay, what's something that surprised you?
I was surprised, and this is my own sort of reaction. I was surprised by how good of a performer Lisa was.
She was fantastic.
Yeah, so I'd seen her because she has a role in the latest season of The White Lotus.
Oh.
Which was interesting. I don't think they gave her enough to do. I think they criminally underutilized Lisa. But she was just a fantastic dancer, and she just always had a beautiful smile on her face.
10,000 gigawatt smile.
Yeah, and her hair looked fantastic. And she was just so charismatic on stage that
even at a distance.
That she's hard to look away from in a way that I wasn't expecting. I like all four of them. I think that Rosé, Jisoo, and Jennie have been my sort of bias at different points, but it hadn't really been Lisa before. But so I think I was surprised by how much I loved Lisa's performance.
Yeah, she was on fire in a way that it felt like almost some of the others had to kind of get a little rolling, get warmed up. And obviously, we don't know anything that happened before the concert. It also sounded like they might have been having some mic trouble during the show, which, of course, puts a damper on things. But I feel like Lisa came out ready to go in a way that was distinctly noticeable from the start of the show. Yeah, it was good. All right, so Lisa is high on the list of favorite things about the concert. And God, she's also so gorgeous. It's kind of disarming, actually. But what was your favorite thing about the BLACKPINK concert? I know what mine is.
Do you mean my favorite song? Or favorite thing?
We could do both if it's different.
So I think my favorite thing about the concert was seeing and getting to hear so many songs that have been sort of living in my head for such a long time. So BLACKPINK, I think, is the first K-pop group that I really fell in love with, and I really fell in love with their music. Because I've been into K-dramas for a really long time, but it took me a lot longer to get into K-pop. And I like K-pop, but I still wouldn't say I'm a K-pop fan with I'm a fan of K-pop, but K-pop fandom is a whole beast that I am not. I maybe dip my toe in the water, and I will go to concerts and bop around, but I'm mostly not a capital F fan. But BLACKPINK, I think, is maybe the exception to that. So just getting to hear so many songs that I really like, that I know all the lyrics to, that it was so fun.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite things about the concert was after Rosé did Apta, that you turned to me and you're like, I've been waiting to scream that song at the top of my lungs my entire life. And that energy is what concerts are all about for me. So the singing, the jumping, how excited people were, that was my favorite thing about the show, is being able to experience all that with some hardcore BLACKPINK fans. I think that was really nice because it's infectious. The energy is infectious, right? Even moments where I was like, man, my knees are tired, I'm gonna sit down. I was like, oh, but hit you with that do I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So yeah, that's what I said in my head. Favorite thing and favorite song were a little bit different.
Okay.
Because yeah, I think the infectious nature of just how excited people were was top tier for me. But my favorite song,
I have a suspicion.
Girl, Jennie shut it down when she yeah. I will say again, I enjoyed all of their individual sets, but Jennie excuse me, she was so good, and like Jennie, was crazy. Was crazy. The crowd was up. Everybody was singing along. The dancers were on point. Her outfit was good because they put Jennie in some crazy outfits that entire concert. There were some I was like, what is that ruffle doing there? What are those boots? But the outfit for her set was on point. The dancing was on point. Like, it was electric. It was so good that when she went off the stage, because the song is not that long, I was like, wait. Do it again. That was not enough. I need more. And it was so good, in fact, because I was obsessed with that song in particular, but like I listened to her album on repeat for a while, like when it first came out. I haven't been able to stop playing K-pop Demon Hunters songs in my head since the movie. Like Jennie was playing for the rest of the night in my head. When I woke up this morning, Your Idol was back, but like Jennie was also in there. So like, that's how good it was, is that it removed K-pop Demon Hunters for a little bit. But like, she was phenomenal. It was so good. This might be a spoiler for the concert, so like, if you're going, maybe skip ahead.
Their North America tour is over.
I mean, we have listeners in other places.
Okay.
But at the end, for the encore, Jisoo did Earthquake again with her fellow Blackpinkers being silly around her and singing along and
doing part of the like backup dancer moves.
Yeah, so ballet a little bit for pretend. But I was like, wait, if we're gonna repeat a song, there's another song that I would like to hear again, please. Please, Jennie, please. But no, that's not what happened. No shade to Jisoo at all. I actually quite like Earthquake, and it made me want to listen to her EP, but like Jennie was just so good. It was so good. Who would rock with Jennie? Me! I want to rock with Jennie. Haters can never ever be Jennie. It was so good. But that's enough for me. What was your favorite song? Or your favorite number?
I think like Jennie is definitely way up there for me. That's one that like, it just like, it was so electric. So good. I also really liked Boombayah, which is like a classic Blackpink song. And sort of like took us into the last sort of section of the concert where we had a lot more of the like classic Blackpink stuff. I also really liked Jump live.
Jump was good. Jump was good.
Jump is their newest the single that Blackpink released before the tour started. Or I think slightly after the tour started, technically. But like, that song is so fun live at a concert. Like, the whole stadium like was jumping, and it's such like a high tempo song, and it was just really fun. Yeah, no, Jump was good. I think Jump might have been my second favorite one because the energy was just so good, and it makes you want to jump. Yeah. They also repeated Jump during the encore, and admittedly, I was like, girls, I cannot jump for you anymore. I will bounce enthusiastically. But yeah, no, it gets you out your seat and it gets you moving. And you were right, everyone was up and jumping. They even commented, they were like, at some shows, people didn't really jump. They just like, politely bopped along, but you guys were really jumping. I was like, damn right. We jump. New Yorkers, we jump. Though I should not claim New York. I am from New Jersey, but tri-state areas, we jump. But yeah. It was a good time. I'm really glad we went. Yeah, I was looking forward to it for a long time, and I'm really glad we did it. Yeah. Okay, so not to get any blinks mad at us, but is there anything about the show that you would have loved if it were different, or if it had gone another way? I already mentioned, like, it would have been great to see more of the stage at a time, but that's, I think, more of a videography issue. I mean, honestly, I think the thing that I wish was different is the videography, because I don't just care about like flashy edits or like there was a lot of that. There were a lot of like special effects and how they were doing like the cinematography stuff, and like a lot of close-ups of their faces, which like is fine, but also like they themselves, like Lisa especially, like is a very good dancer, but we didn't really get to see a lot of her actual dancing because they were just focusing more on like the upper half of her body, right? Or of all the Blackpink members' bodies. So I wish the videography was such that we could appreciate the dancing part of the performance more.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. See, like, the holistic performance rather than the kind of chopped up bits. Like, I can understand, for example, if they're doing a ballad, right, and you kind of want to highlight each of them in this ballady moment. But, like, for the high energy dance numbers, I want to see the high energy dance, right? Because there was a section where they focused just specifically on the dancers while Blackpink was having a costume change. And I was like, wow, I would have really loved to see you guys, like, throughout the entirety of this performance, not just
as ants on the stage.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Is there anything else that I would have wished they did differently besides performing like Jennie 5 times in a row? The one thing that you and I talked about is that Rosé's album has a bit more of an intimate feel to it.
Yeah, she does a lot more like ballad style songs, and it's much more focused on like the vocals.
Yeah.
So whereas like Jennie and Lisa are rappers, and Jisoo also does vocals, but she had the songs she performed were a lot more sort of like high energy.
Yeah.
Songs, whereas and Rosé did like, so she performed 2 a.m. or not 2 a.m. Sorry, she performed 2 years. She also has a song called 3 a.m. She performed 2 years at our concert and had like the guitarist come out and like sit and play the guitar while she sang.
Yeah.
And it was really nice, but I also think the venue wasn't quite suited for that kind of performance. So it was really good. I'm really glad she sang it. That is like one of the songs I really like from her album. But it just the sound setup didn't quite suit what she was doing.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if Rosé were to do like a solo concert, the kinds of venues that she would be in, right? Because if they're expecting 40,000 people, then they're gonna, move towards stadiums. But like for the kind of music that she performed for the set, except for Apata, I would have wanted something more enclosed, right? Something that was more geared towards that kind of not big production
so her
performance.
Voice could fill the room.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, not necessarily a critique, but more like looking forward at what a Rosé concert could be like, because her voice was fantastic.
Oh yeah, she was really good live.
She was really good live, but I feel like I didn't get the full effect of her voice for those songs in this kind of space.
Well, and also, like, I think she also did Toxic till the end, which was, and it was a shortened version of it. Like, they cut one of the verses. So, like, it also, like, you didn't quite get, you got, like, a taste, but you didn't get, like, the whole meal.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And it left me wanting the whole meal for all 4 of them, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right. Any takeaways?
My biggest thing that I would say to our listeners is if you get a chance to go to a K-pop concert, you totally should. They're so fun. And maybe don't like have your first, well, actually, if you're a BTS fan and you want your first K-pop concert to be BTS, go for it. I believe in you. But also, like, my first K-pop concert was NCT 127, and I only know a little bit of their music, but it was such a good show that it was a great time. Yeah. So, like, on whole, like, great time, totally safe to go to by yourself. Like, going to a concert, assuming you are, like, of age and can do things by yourself. Like, going to a K-pop concert by yourself is not something that is embarrassing or unsafe, and is something that you should do if it would bring you joy.
Yeah, I think that's a good takeaway. I will add on to that since this was my first K-pop concert, I did appreciate kind of like the bigness and the spectacle of the show, but I think something that I've been interested in based on what Corinne has been talking about and some of the other shows that she's gone to and my own experiences with other concerts is smaller shows with more intimate venues, because I love a concert that is like in the back alley of a bar. It's like an artist that 5 people have heard of, but the room is packed and everyone is like having a great time. Like, I love a show like that. And I do love a big concert show, right? Like I went to see Beyonce, I went to see Usher. They were big shows and it was a lot of fun. But like some of my favorite concerts that I have the strongest memories of are like we went to go see like Tom Misch, for example, and it was like in the back room of a bar, and it was great. It was so good. So I'm wondering like what smaller artists even broadening out from K-pop, just thinking internationally, what smaller international artists have shows in America that you can get a chance to see, right? Or like even thinking what other Korean, so like for example, Corinne went to see the Rose, and they're not so much a K-pop.
I loved it. I loved them so much. That's my top concert of the year. It'll be so hard to beat.
And they're not necessarily K-pop, right? So I'm thinking of like other Korean indie groups, Korean bands, or whatever country of music you're interested in, right? Finding those shows, seeing where they're happening, and going and supporting their work. Because honestly, I'm all about supporting artists. Not like BLACKPINK needed my support in particular, right? But it makes me just think about like, as though people are trying to make it smaller in some ways, as our world is so global and connected, thinking about music, thinking about touring, thinking about these kind of things, how can we continue to support artists in a variety of walks and of a variety of sizes?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that's like a piece of advice beyond like find artists that you love and go see them in concert, because concerts are healing in a way that I don't think you realize.
It was such like the word I'm thinking. I keep thinking of the word adrenaline, but like that's not exactly it. I did get plenty of adrenaline from the concert.
Oh, girl, the number of like zone minutes we got jumping around.
Yeah, but it just like made me feel happier to be there.
100%. And that sustained us through the ride home.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a certain, maybe I wouldn't go as far as
endorphins,
euphoria. Maybe endorphins, yeah. I mean, in Yumi Cells, the endorphins were a concert.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, there's a rush. There's a rush that comes from being at a concert and feeding off of that energy and having a really good time. So I guess my takeaway is go listen to live music if you can. And do not forget to bring your earplugs.
I forgot to bring my earplugs. Yeah. But I also like feeling like my bones are vibrating. So
yeah, you know, there was a song I sat through and it vibrated my whole seat, and I was like, thank God I have my earplugs because I have tinnitus, so I don't need to make this worse. So yeah, don't forget your earplugs if you have sensitive old ears like me, or if you're like a baby, because you should protect your eardrums.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that can kind of wrap up our BLACKPINK conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed this bonus episode. If this is something you'd like us to do a bit more of, kind of off the cuff, not highly edited, because y'all I don't think realize how much work I put into these episodes. not highly edited, kind of just conversational things, let us know, because I think these are slightly less lift. Though Corinne won't be here in my house for those.
Yeah, sadly.
But yeah, so if you enjoyed this episode, you should go listen to some of our other episodes, like maybe our K-pop Demon Hunters episode. That's kind of related. We talk a bit about K-pop concerts in that one. And do we talk about K-pop concerts in any other episodes? I think so.
We talk a lot about K-pop, I think, especially when we have a song that's sparking joy.
Yeah.
Like it's been Rosé's, some of Rosé's stuff for me, some of Jennie's stuff for you. So K-pop comes up a lot.
You know, if you listen to our What's Sparking Joy playlist, that's on Spotify, and I'll link it in the show notes. I think Like Jennie is on there, as well as some songs from Rosé. So, yeah, listen to that. Get some good vibes. And if you want to find us in other places that are not in your podcast apps, Corinne, where can they find us?
You can find us at Sex Love Lit Podcast on Instagram, Tumblr, and Blue Sky.
All of those places that currently exist you can find us on. But otherwise, yeah, this has been a kind of little bonus episode of Sex Love Literature.
Of our tale of BLACKPINK being in our area.
BLACKPINK in your area. And our love of the concert. So still fits into the theme of our show. Yeah. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Look at us doing that in unison.